Can I interest you in Gio Bernard in a GPP?
I suffer from a debilitating condition known as atropic shockitis.
Peter's one of the greatest depositors I've ever seen.
Trust the process. Let's go. Let's go.
I got auto matched with Levitan. This is bullshit.
If I just go the other way in that 66, I win all the money. All the money.
If I had 150 lineups, I'd win too.
Process over results.
Illuminati make a bitch go crazy. I don't know which one of these my baby. Bust out AP, coach 5 bullets in your head like KD. Bust it, bitch go bust it. And I had 10 pints with me in Russia.
Hey everyone.
This is so offensive to me. This is so offensive. I have to be the most punctual DFS streamer in the world. I mean, I might be like 30 seconds late some of the time. Wow, he's on time. You're shocked. And it's funny you say that because I do have a hard out tonight. I have a hard out in 20 minutes at 7:50. I have dinner plans tonight. And if I am late, and if I tell my wife I'm running late because I was trying to find a pick'em I liked on Underdog on the stream, she's going to be pissed at me. So we have to be efficient tonight. Guys, I hate this bit. I hate it a lot. I hate it. Guys, we're still so early. We're so early. I regret to inform everyone, we don't have a smash leverage captain tonight. We are going to have to get a little creative, but I will say the Giants side of the ball looks like how we want to attack this. The captains showing positive leverage tonight are Kenny Golladay. I'm seeing about 10% in the Sims, 5% captain ownership. Daniel Jones, 12% in the Sims, 8% average ownership. And Kadarius Toney, 10% in the Sims, 6% average captain ownership. So we're going to get funky with some Giants lineups tonight while the field jams their Buccaneers. Thoughts on playing Barkley? So Barkley, you know, sometimes we see these guys coming back from an injury and we get a bit of an ownership discount. Doesn't seem like we are necessarily getting that with Barkley here. As far as a captain, he looks like a neutral play to me. 7.6% average ownership, 7.5% in the Sims. So the field is playing him at a similar rate as we are seeing him pop in the Sims. As far as a flex play, he looks slightly better as a flex play. I'm seeing 31% ownership in the flex, 35% in the Sims. The best flex play right now looks like Gio Bernard. Seeing about 9% average ownership, and he's in our Sims 18.4% of the time. All right, let's see here. Is Gronk's back going to tighten up 3 snaps in tonight? Yeah, Gronk looks like a decent flex play to me. I mean, he's the kind of classic touchdown or bust play. He's not going to rack up a ton of catches. So, he's appropriately priced at 6,200. I think he's a solid play. Let's go ahead and jump over to the Sims here. We'll get right down to work. We will run the Sims. So we have a pretty juicy over-under, 49.5. Tampa Bay's 11-point favorite. So that means they have a really big implied team total. These are my Sims from earlier. I forgot to refresh these. 30 implied points for the Buccaneers here, 19.5 for the Giants. And the one thing that's fun about this game is both of these teams are pretty aggressive in as far as their pass rate over expectation. I mean, you see our default input here on the Bucs. Where's my branding? There we go. Now we're back. Jeez. You see the Bucs rush rate here all the way down at 36.8% and the Giants at 37.7%. And obviously the great thing about the Bucs is they continue to pass even when they are leading the game. And, if we assume they get up to a lead, the Giants have also been very willing to go up tempo and throw when from behind. So this looks like it could be a fun game from a fantasy standpoint, and we will see what the Sims have to stay here. Brandon asking, what about a 2-4 build fading Brady? Yeah, I think 2-4 builds will be fairly unique. As always, I assume the most popular construction will be 4-2 Bucks and 3-3. And then after that, probably a 5-1 Bucks onslaught. And then your most unique would be a 2-4 Giants or a 1-5 Giants. I doubt too many people are going to be employing that tonight. Let's see here. Dan asks, you weren't giving Gronk back rubs earlier to give us the inside info. You know, I used to be Gronk's main back rub guy when he was in New England, and just the kind of long distance thing has been tough on us with that. Also, Dan Ross recently hopped in the Discord sub to run the Sims, got him hooked up in that channel earlier today. Happy to have you in there, Dan. So right out the gate here, we can see that Tom Brady is appearing in our optimals as the captain at a pretty good clip. The problem is it's just not a ton of leverage because his average ownership is around 20%. And as far as a captain, and we're only seeing him in the Sims here at a 15.8% clip. Daniel Jones, Chris Godwin, Fournette, the other guys here. And as far as captains, you know, just the Daniel Jones looks pretty good to me. 12.5% here, and I'm seeing only around 7 or 8%. There's actually quite an interesting spread on Daniel Jones's ownership projection for captain. I'm seeing it everywhere from like 6% to 10%. So this could really be a jam if Daniel Jones is more on the 6% side. And I like this spot for Daniel Jones as far as from a DFS perspective. The Bucs haven't been terrific against the pass. We know Daniel Jones can get it done on the ground. He gets Kenny Golladay back. He gets Saquon back. He has explosive playmakers. So I think Daniel Jones is probably my favorite captain play right now. I also think Kenny Golladay is pretty viable as well, showing up in our Sims 9.2% of the time. And I don't know why we don't have his captain own updated in here, but I am seeing around 5% captain ownership for Kenny Golladay. So those guys, the Giants, Golladay, Jones, Tony, to me, they are your preferred captains tonight. And let's just see what these lineups are kind of looking like. Right out of the gate, let me extend this screen so you guys can see the product ownership, and I will zoom in as well if I can. Here we go. Is that all right? Now the screen is so big on my computer. Goodness. So we're seeing we have a Chris Godwin captain here, the first two that are showing up with the highest frequency here. The first one makes sense as far as what like a chalk build would be, a Godwin, Gronk, Gio, Tom Brady with Daniel Jones and Kenny Golladay coming back. I assume that'll be a fairly popular construction. This next one is a little interesting, a Godwin captain. So it's a 2-4 here in favor of the Giants side. And then you get Saquon, Colin Johnson, Kadarius Toney, and Daniel Jones. That one is kind of interesting. I always like to be glancing at the product own to see what might keep these, lineups in check here. Although I will note we didn't have the Kenny Golladay product ownership in our optimal. So that's why this one and these are going to be lower in general right now if you're looking at the product own here. But seeing a decent amount of Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay in captain, Daniel Jones, and I think that's the way I want to go. You can see it's a mix up here about with the Godwin, with the Bradys. And so the fact that we can get some leverage on the field by going with the Giants pass catchers, by going with Daniel Jones looks pretty good to me. I like this lineup here. Looks pretty interesting. A Giants onslaught, Daniel Jones, Golladay, Barkley, Slayton, Kadarius Toney with just Leonard Fournette coming back. These are the kind of lineups I really like when they are, going against the trend of how most people are going to be building with just one Buck coming back. That seems pretty good. And we've seen Fournette operate as a bell cow here. If this game is close and we don't see a lot of Gio or a lot of Rojo, I could see the offense, being fairly condensed around Fournette. So I don't hate that play at all. Matt says, hey, I'm late. What's the best plays? Rewind. I gave you the best plays, and now we're just having a chat about life, about love, and about relationships. Oh no, I'm late. The Sims were already released. You guys, this is the thing. I can't win with you guys. I'm either, you guys are either shocked I start on time, or you guys are the ones rolling in late. I mean, Give me a break. Jalen Darden. Now that's a name. That is definitely a name. We can look at our inputs here. We don't have Jalen Darden projected for much. We have Tyler Johnson next up after the big two of Godwin and Evans with a 10% market share of receiving yards. And we have Darden down at 1.5%. But if you notice, I'd almost rather just play. I know he's $1,200 cheaper than Gio, but I'd rather just play Gio, who's going to have an even bigger market share than Jalen Darden. I call him Jalen Darton because he's a dart throw. We're having a rough night. We're all trying to get through this together. Let's run a few different scenarios here. So the one scenario that's been playing out in a lot of these games is a super gross slate. So let's play this as like a really low scoring game and see what happens. Let's say the Bucs win 17-10. Let's say the rush rates get boosted up here, 41%, 42% rush rate for the Bucs. Willis is booing my Jalen Darton pun. I thought it was decent, Willis. I honestly thought it was decent off the cuff like that. It's not like I've been scripting this Jalen Darton joke, and I hired someone in the chat to ask me about Jalen Darton just so I could say. I mean, it definitely didn't go down like that. Speaking of paid actors, did you see someone ask Osimo for his autograph on the streets? I saw that video just now. Talk about a paid actor. All right, so let's see what the Sims look like in these really gross, low-scoring games here. We have Tom Brady's optimal captain rate comes way down. So he comes down from, what was he at, 19% earlier, or sorry, 15% in the Sims, all the way down to 8.7%. So in these really gross games, Tom Brady taking a big hit. Godwin actually gets boosted a little bit, which I guess makes some intuitive sense to me, that Godwin would look decent in this scenario as a captain. We also see Daniel Jones holds pretty strong. Leonard Fournette gets boosted a little bit. Leonard Fournette up to 15% in this scenario, which also makes sense that he would be pretty heavily involved there. But the biggest kind of thing that's just standing out to me when we run, multiple, differences in projected game flow is just the fact that Tom Brady doesn't look like a great captain play in a couple of these scenarios. So then it starts to look pretty thin to me because the field isn't baking in necessarily kind of the downside risk of what a Tom Brady captain looks like in these lower scoring games. Not seeing a lot different. Let's see what the texture of these lineups looks like. We now do start to get some 5-1 Bucs in this scenario. We see the Tampa Bay Bucs with Fournette. That's obviously going to have a high correlation in a low scoring game here. Lots of Fournette Buccaneers. So again, that's the beauty of the Sims. They are taking care of those correlations for us. And we see in a low scoring game that the Bucs and Fournette appear to be pretty highly correlated. Seeing some Bucs Gio as well. I also think, playing Fournette with one of Ronald Jones or Gio Bernard isn't necessarily bad either, depending on which way that game script goes. If for some reason the Giants were to get up, I could see Fournette and Gio both having good games. If the Bucs were to blow out the Giants, I could also see Rojo and Fournette both having good games. So these lineups are, fairly interesting. Not seeing a ton of Giants heavy lineups in this build. More 3-3s, 4-2 Bucs, 5-1 Bucs. So if you're playing this as a low scoring game, I do think that's where you load up on the Buccaneers and probably include the Bucs. Let's see what the Buccaneers defense jumped up to. So yeah, they're 30% in this scenario. And in our baseline Sims as flex, they were appearing only 13.7% of the time. So a pretty big jump for the Buccaneers in a lower scoring game with the defense here. Woman's asked, what are the highest projected scoring punt plays? So the best values that I'm seeing here, and again, what I'm looking at Woman's here is through the lens of how popular they're going to be. The best values to me in the flex look like Rashad Perriman at 200. He was activated off the practice squad, and Colin Johnson on the Giants at 200. And they're very similar type of plays, right? Like they're going to be the 4th/5th wide receiver. They're going to play on the outside, and you're just basically praying that they catch one long ball, which is in the range of outcomes for their skill set. So at $200 in low ownership, those guys look good. The other guys who look like good cheap pump plays, John Ross, who I mentioned earlier, he's $400. He looks decent. And then Gio Bernard up at $1,800 looks decent to me. So that would be kind of the core of my super punt play group. The pumps that don't look as good to me, Jalen Darton, notice the T and the emphasis there for the haters, of which there are many. OJ Howard doesn't look too good to me at 1,200. But yeah, I would stick with Johnson, Perriman, John Ross, and Gio as your punt play du jour there. Sure, I got you, Mohammed. Can you do it? Giants Sim 24-21. Let's do that. And then I am going to have to get out of here in about 5 minutes. Let's see. What did you want? 24-21 Giants. In that case where the Giants are winning, I do think it would be smart to increase their rush rate a bit. I imagine they would try to hold a lead a little bit more. And who knows, man, could the Bucs rush rate drop even further when they're losing? I guess so. We could drop their rush rate to 33% and see what we look like. All right, so Godwin holds good again. Godwin has been definitely the constant across all of these. Godwin's an interesting one just because, he's not going to be sneaky. We're seeing around, 13% average captain ownership, but it is a nice stamp of approval to see Godwin appear in a bunch of these different game scripts. So he looks like a really solid play to me. We see Saquon get boosted up here to 10.4%. That's probably the biggest jump. He was 7.5% in the baseline inputs as far as a frequented captain. So Saquon definitely would benefit in a close Giants win there. Again, we see Brady come way down. We've now seen Brady come down in basically all scenarios that aren't, a Tampa Bay route. So I'm off Tom Brady in the captain tonight. Daniel Jones looks really good in this scenario. So if you want to play this as a Giants close victory, Daniel Jones looks great. Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney, their flex percentages here look really solid. I think all of those Giants are strong plays and give you some nice outs with varying game scripts here. Mike says Brady had a bad outing last game. He's going to be fired tonight. Yeah, I mean, there were some interesting splits for Brady since week 7, since losing Antonio Brown. Like their offense has taken a little bit of a hit since then, but I don't mind if you want to take a stroll down narrative street. But the thing to remember is the Giants are also coming off the bye. They're also getting Saquon and Kenny Golladay back. They've been playing pretty well. They've also been holding opposing quarterbacks, including Patrick Mahomes, to pretty respectable outings. So I don't think this is just some pushover matchup for the Bucs. So yeah, I think it'll be a good game, and both these teams will be pretty up tempo. Let's just quickly check the types of lineups in a 24-21 script here. We have a 3-3 right out of the gate. Here's another 2-4 at the top, seeing lots of Godwin still. Lots of Godwin, lots of Kadarius Toney, lots of Daniel Jones. So this construction here seems like a pretty good one to me. I love this 5-1 with just Mike Evans coming back. This would be pretty unique. Giants defense, Daniel Jones captain, Golladay, Giants defense, Toney, Saquon, and then just Mike Evans as the bring back. I think Godwin is going to be much, much more popular than Evans. And it makes sense. He's had a bigger market share of receiving yards, but as Cody Main wrote up in the ETR Showdown write-up, Evans has had a much bigger air yards market share. So he's going to be more boom bust, but can certainly get there and lap Godwin with a couple big plays or red zone targets on this slate. So I like getting up to Evans if I can. Now, this is a narrative that I can stand behind here. It's Tom Brady's cousin's birthday. Wow. I mean, I'm going to go into the inputs and boost it here. 6 says, Pete, this Thanksgiving, I will release the buttons on my shirt. You know what? I appreciate that because sometimes it just feels like you guys just take around here. Release the Sims, Peter. Start the show on time. Don't make Jalen Darton jokes. And so it's nice that someone was willing to give back, that they're willing to release something, even if it is the buttons on your shirt. Guys, I appreciate you cramming with me here. Good luck on this slate. I am going to get Chinese food right now, which I am very excited about. Good luck. I will see you tomorrow for Club Top Shot. Hope you guys bink a showdown tonight.